Welcome to the Shakaama Live Show with your host, Shakaama. Several states passed laws concerning non-disclosure agreements between women and company over this Me Too movement. Finally, it got to California, which was I believe, the start of the Me Too movement. And now they're all seeking to revamp the laws that they passed with this change. So the whole idea was to if you haven't been to law school, if you don't know how the law works, if you don't know how the implementation of laws impacts you, a lot of times you can be bamboozled thinking that you have fought for a law to help you. Well, there's what the women think, and then there's what the law actually is going to do. So the laws were that no longer can you sign an agreement before you even start working for a company to say that you will not come after a company, you won't, and if you're ever involved in anything with the company, you won't disclose it to the general public. And they said this, I didn't read this in the law, but they said that you can't sign away your right to bring actual criminal charges in a court of, with the police in a court of law, right? Here's the revamp that's saying that that is illegal. So there is no protection whatsoever from the company. And so all the women are cheering because the women think that this is a good thing. Here's the 2-point process. I'm gonna keep this short. Here's the 2 points that I think is happening that women are completely oblivious to. Not disclosing things to a public will do 2 things. So this is a drop down. So this is A1, right? And I'll go to A2 after this. And then I'll go to B, right? So if a company cannot get you to sign an agreement that you will not disclose stuff to the public, then they will not hire you. Point blank, they won't hire you. This also then they can take this to court anytime some sort of female group says you're not hiring women. They can take this to court and says we have a right to protect our company. Whatever happens to an individual inside of the company, we, the company, have a right to protect the company. It has nothing to do with this individual. This individual was acting on his own accord, doing whatever he did. Number 2, and here's something that the Me Too movement didn't understand what they were doing. Because of the way companies were conducting themselves, and because the Me Too movement was push, you gotta believe women, gotta believe women, companies were believing women. Without any evidence, they were firing men and making out-of-court settlements with women. Without any evidence, they were firing men who had worked for 30 years and making settlements out of court with women. A2, gone. That's gone. They're going to require complete evidence before they even make a single move. Why? Because you can't make an agreement. You can't make a confidentiality agreement with a woman now. B, this will protect companies. Anything that was arranged before, no arrangements can be made with women. This is going to protect companies completely. Now they will go after the woman who makes a claim. Do you know, under the Me Too movement, the false accusations spiked. Women didn't go to prison for making false claims, but the false accusations spiked under Me Too. So women were making false claims after false claims and claiming this and that and the other, when in fact, when you actually look at any sort of harassment or anything like that, the majority of harassers are against females. The majority of harassers are other females. Hey, like them apples. Chew on that. The B was, these laws are so easy to overcome. Why? Because all of these laws name men. They literally say men. Men. Anybody see a problem with that? One gender? So the only people who can harass are one gender? And all of these laws name one gender. They were so gung-ho as to name men as the perpetrators for all of this, for everything. It's all men's fault that they put it into the law, which is discrimination, right? You're only targeting men? That's discrimination. So not only that, but then the man is going to sue you, woman, take it all the way to the Supreme Court, and guess who's going to help him? The company. And now they're saying, they've already said it in the article that I was reading, before, because the company believed women, it was very easy to settle out of court before you even got a lawyer, because the lawyer knew that the companies would settle. It was easy to procure a lawyer. So the woman literally trotted downtown to the business district, said, I have a case. The lawyer says, I know the company is going to settle. I'll take your case on contingency. They already said in the article, that's over. Why? Because the companies can't settle. So you can't get a lawyer. So now you, peon that makes $60,000 a year, can't pony up the lawyers. Company can pony up the lawyers. You, $60,000 a year, can't pony up. They even had a case in the article of a woman who wasn't even hired, was interviewing with the company and accused a man of impropriety with her. Wasn't hired. And she believed whatever she said, and then somebody else came out and said the same thing, and it says, oh, well, I can't help you because, I settled out of court, so I can't help you. So how is that has anything to do with the company when you're not even hired? Number one. The whole point of this coming out of the 80s and 90s is that it was the idea that you are under the man, and so the man is going to threaten you if you don't do certain things. Well, this is the thing now. Before it was the man didn't threaten you. He said, if you do this with me, I'll reward you with this, that, and the other. Which is the thing in Hollywood. Which makes the Weinstein makes the Weinstein case very problematic for women because then we see the evidence that her career took off. And that a lot of the cases where there were witnesses uh, and or testimony or any evidence presented, it was the woman who voluntarily did whatever with him. But the news, of course, don't want to concentrate. They want to concentrate on the ones who said, "Oh, who he did this and that and the other to me." But half, if not a majority of them, says, "I jumped in the pool, I jumped in the hot tub, I jumped in the bathtub, I jumped in the bed, I jumped on the couch. I did this." Why? Because I knew he was a bigwig in Hollywood. I knew if I did this and the other, that he would reward me. And one of the accusers, I think, is one of the big time movie stars. And so then her male co star said, "How can she bring charges against him when she told me she voluntarily did that? And lo and behold, look at her. She's living in a mansion now." It was an arrangement that women don't want to admit that they made. But this goes beyond that. I used to model. A long time ago, I used to model. And I got out of it because of that stuff. But but nobody wants to talk about that because I wasn't one to do this, that, and the other with people that I'm not married to. That I'm not married to. Because that's my agreement, right? With myself. Now, you're not worth me doing anything when you're not married to me. Why? Because I think it's pretty obvious. I'm not going to have a baby mama. No such thing here. So, in the modeling industry, you can make arrangements and go to the world famous photographer and you say, "Will you take pictures of me?" And he will say, "We'll talk about it. Why don't you come over around 8 p.m.? Here's what happens. You can be a nobody. You can be a nobody. He can take your picture and you can be top model, it girl, the belle of the ball the next day. He can simply mention that he took pictures of you. They don't even have to see the pictures. And you're on the runway in Milan. You're in the runways of Florida. You're in the runway of New York. You're in Paris. That's how that stuff works. It doesn't work out for men, but it works out for women. Uh, what is her name? I believe Janice Dickinson wrote in her book something like that. That she was photographed by a world famous, and she did this, and the other. Can't sue me because I didn't say what she did or what she said she did. But I believe she said she did this, that, and the other. And she was photographed by world famous photographers. That's how it works. And I know for a fact that's how it works in modeling. That's why I got out of modeling. Because as far as the men are concerned, the men are just used. Just used. There is no benefit to being a man in modeling. And for all of the men, that you see who model and you see them everywhere, and they're in a mansion, for every one of those, they're better looking guys with better bodies, better bills, better six pack, better eight packs, or they're thin as all get out, or whatever, and they strike pose. They can pose and make burlap sacks look amazing. There's thousands of guys who are far better, and they get nothing, zero. Don't get paid anything, and live in New York. Don't pay anything, don't get paid anything, and live in New York, and look better than, or even do magazine covers. If you know anything about the industry, do magazine covers and not get paid. Men. Different story for women. Men. So I don't know about Hollywood, but I do know modeling. I know people. I know in modeling, a woman can say, "Will you take a picture of me?" And he says, "Yes." "Oh, come on over and wear nothing at all. I'll dress you." And the next day, she's a millionaire. You know, or close to it. All right. Thank you all for watching. Leave a comment. Please like the video.